All right. So very good morning to all of you guys. Let's start today's lesson, which is a continuation of e-business strategy that we have been discussing for several sessions now, right? So we have been talking about strategy process models, no? Strategy process models. And we have mentioned that a strategy process model, any strategy process model involves 4 steps: strategic analysis, strategic objectives, strategic definition, and strategy implementation. So under this, we have already talked about strategic analysis and strategic objectives, right? That part we have completed. So these two, analysis we have done, strategic objectives we have done. We are now in the middle of strategy definition part, right? So today, let's look at the remaining section of the strategy definition part that we have been talking. So to just very quickly once again recap, under strategic analysis, we talked about how a business organization can analyze its internal and external environments, identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and these may include an idea. This may include an organization gaining an idea of what their core competencies are, what their resource base is like, and such things, right? What their competition is like, and so on. Then, based on the understanding an organization gains from the strategic analysis process, they move on to developing strategic objectives, right? So the strategic objectives we mentioned that when it comes to this stage, the information that you obtain from the strategic analysis process helps you to come up with good objectives. And when it comes to developing objectives, we discussed that these derive from broader goals that an organization has, right? So under the several goals that an organization has, which are broader in scope, they derive specific objectives. And we mentioned that these objectives have to be smart. Smart characteristics have to be there. They have to be specific, they have to be measurable, then they have to be achievable, relevant, and also timely, right? There should be a time frame attached to them. So smart features should be there in objectives. And also, in order to measure whether these objectives have been achieved, whether the initial goals have been achieved through the objectives, we assign KPIs to each of these objectives when we design these, right? Measurable KPIs, which we can use to measure the performance of our organization, whether have we done better, have we done worse, are there any improvements needed, right? So that was the sort of discussion we had regarding strategic analysis and strategic objectives. So today, let's see the remainder of this strategy definition part. Right, I'm going to fast forward this part. Right, so we discussed about, we are actually in the middle of this strategy definition section. So we discussed under strategy definition that there are 8 key digital business strategic decisions that a typical manager may have to make, right? This may involve digital business channel priorities. We have already discussed about this, no? So when it comes to strategy definition, any organization should have a clear idea about through what kind of digital channels are they going to implement these strategies. What is the current channel mix of the country, of the company or the organization, and also what is the channel mix that they're going to use in order to reach out to their target markets through this defined strategies, these newly defined strategies or the modified strategies, right? So under this, we discussed that an organization can map, right? At which stage they are in terms of using their channels. Is it purely traditional based channels that they are using, or is it a mix of traditional and digital channels, or is it a situation where digital channels have completely replaced traditional channels, right? I hope you can remember. So we have discussed this through this graph, this one, right? So where we try to determine where our organization is at the moment and where we need to be, right? Are we going to be in this position? Are we going to be in this position? If so, what is the level of change required for our organization? So this understanding has to be there for any organization in order to come up with effective strategies to achieve their designated goals, right? For example, I remember I took a situation where an organization is in the necessity of moving online, right? To broaden their revenue base, to broaden their market base. They are having the idea to move online, right? Maybe through a website, e-commerce site. And the objective could be to increase the revenue by 20% within the first 6 months of 2022, right? Online revenue contribution increasing. So in order to go to that target, what should our strategy be, right? So at this stage, the organization should define අපි 20% වලින් online revenue එක අපේ contribution එක increase කරන්න නම් අපි මොන විදිහේ strategy එකක්ද ඒකට හදන්න ඕනේ, මොන විදිහේ strategy එකක්ද අපිට තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඔය strategy එක define කරද්දී මෙන්න මේ කියන decisions 8 ගැන සැලකිලිමත් වෙන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා බොහෝ විට බහුතරයක් ආයතන වලට, right? So that is why we are discussing these 8 key decisions under strategy definition. In order to achieve our targets, we have to come up with a strategy. When coming up with a good strategy, when defining a good strategy, what are the things that we have to have an idea about? One thing we talked about already, digital business channel priorities. Now the organization has understood which level they have to operate in, right? After identifying that, right, after identifying e-business channel priorities, then we discussed somewhere around halfway in this topic last day, market and product development strategies. Another important key decision an organization has to make is with regards to their markets and their products, right? Channel digital e-business channel priorities අඳුනගත්තා. ඊළඟට මම strategy එක define කරන්න නම් මගේ organization එකේ market and product development strategies මොන විදියට වෙන්න ඕනේද කියලා මට idea එකක් තියෙන්න ඕන, right? To which market should we target and through which products should we do this? So in order to do this, we discussed that the ANSOF matrix is very useful. So today, let's base our discussion on the ANSOF matrix. I'm pretty sure you have learned about the ANSOF matrix and applied ANSOF matrix in certain modules that you have learned earlier in your degree program as well. So let's see, what are the two main axes? One, on x-axis you have product growth, on y-axis you have market growth, right? So now there are 4 main quadrants. An organization can either choose to operate by selling their existing products within existing markets only, right? Existing products, existing market. We call it market penetration, right? Or an organization can choose to sell within the existing market, but new products. There is also the option for an organization to sell their existing product range, right? Existing products, but to completely new markets. That's the third option. Or there's a fourth option where organization can completely diversify. Completely new products, completely new markets, right? So organization can choose to be in either one of these quadrants. So although we say that an organization can choose to be in either one of these quadrants, in reality what happens is an organization is not just concentrated around one of these quadrants, right? So there are situations where there is a mix of these strategies followed by organizations. We cannot say that an organization is 100% following the market penetration strategy only, or they are following the market development strategy only. No, right? An organization can use a mix of these strategies, and there can be a mix of these strategies when it comes to reality. But these quadrants are useful for them to identify where they are in terms of their products and markets. දැන් ඇත්ත ජීවිතයේදී මේ එක quadrant එකකට විතරක් ව්‍යාපාරයක් සීමා වෙනවා කියලා දෙයක් නැහැ. මේ strategies කිහිපයක එකතුවක් තමයි බොහෝ විට organizations follow කරන්නේ. එක strategy එකක ඉන්න අය ඉන්නවා වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, small scale organizations ඉන්නවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් ගොඩක් විට අපි ප්‍රධාන පෙළේ ව්‍යාපාර ගත්තොත් අපි දකිනවා මේ strategies කීපයක combination එකක් එයාලා follow කරනවා කියලා. Right. Now I want you to answer me this question. What do you think is the least riskiest option? Least riskiest option, right? Out of the four. මේ තියෙන options හතරෙන් අඩුම risk එකක් තියෙන option එක මොකක්ද organization එකකට? What do you think? Yes. Yes. Correct. Market penetration. No, why? Because අපි ඉන්නම market එකේ අපිට පුරුදු products අපි විකුණනවා. Right? එහෙනම් කොහොමද අපි එකකින් revenue generate කරන්න, revenue increase කරන්නේ කොහොමද? අපි ඉන්නම market එකේ ඉන්නේ, අපි තියනම products තමයි විකුණන්නේ. Then how can that contribute to increase our revenue base? Yeah, so let's look at the first quadrant. Here, now since we are focusing on e-business, right? Since we are focusing on digital business, let's look at how these can be customized to a digital context, right? Using internet for market share growth, competing more effectively online. You are in the existing market, you are using the existing products, but you can increase your market share by moving online. You are having a physical store, you are having a physical format, physical based business model, right? Traditional business model. Let's say a purely brick and mortar model, right? Then you can do market penetration very easily using the internet. Maybe you're setting up a website, maybe you're putting up a Facebook page, you're moving online, right? So by that, you can improve your market share. Maybe you're addressing to a new group of customers, right? So maybe you didn't have a social media presence before, but you're setting up social media profiles. Maybe you're setting up an Instagram account, you're setting up a Facebook account, you're setting up Twitter, even TikTok, right? It's a very popular platform these days for marketing purposes, right? So you're setting up these kinds of online presences in order to tap into new markets. Maybe you're targeting the Gen Z, right? Generation Z, which is more tech savvy, which is more, used to technology. So maybe you're trying to tap into that, right? But still it's market penetration. You are in the existing product, the existing market, but you can market share growth can be done by competing more effectively online, right? Then this can be in terms of cutting down prices, offering special promotional prices online, right? Maybe you promote that if you buy from your online like store, then you are entitled to special discounts, right? Things like that. And maybe you are offering customer loyalty improvement. That is also one way of doing market penetration. Migrating existing customers online, right? Like I mentioned earlier, the existing customer base, you're moving them to an online audience and you add value to existing products. How can you add value to existing products? Yes. ඔයාලගේ තියෙන existing products වලට existing brands වලට ඔයාලා value add කරනවා. කොහොමද එහෙම කරන්න පුළුවන්? How do you think that can be done? Yes. Any idea? Value adding කරන්න පුළුවන් කොහොමද? Yes, by differentiating. Yes, I'm asking how. Like, give me an example. For example, how can you add value? Give me a specific example. Any idea? Yeah, so adding new features to your products. Yes. Cash on delivery services, e-transactions. Yes, very good, right? So you provide new value to your customers, right? Maybe you provide this cash on delivery option to your customers, right? And also you what was the other example you have mentioned? E-transactions, right? Yes. So that facility, by providing that facility, you provide the convenience of shopping for your customers while being at home. You are adding value to your customer, isn't it? Yeah. So under customer value improvement, you increase your customers' profitability by decreasing the cost to serve, right? So essentially, when you're going online, that can decrease your cost to serve, right? Because rather than operating a physical store, when you are working online, a lot of operational costs that you have to incur in a physical format can be avoided altogether, right? So at a lower cost, you can increase the profitability you deliver to your customers, right? And increase purchase or usage frequency and quantity. That is also an option. Now, for an example, you try to increase the rate of consumption of the products. That is also one way of penetrating the market. You're still in the existing markets with your existing products, but you try to increase the usage frequency. For example, now Dialog, they think of how can we increase the intensity of using our service by the customers, right? How can we increase it? And Netflix thinks, how can we increase the streaming time of our viewer base? The usage frequency, how can we increase? අපේ customer base එක, අපේ service එක පාවිච්චි කිරීමේ frequency එක අපි වැඩි කරන්නේ කොහොමද? Pick me හිතනවා කොහොමද තවත් වැඩිපුර customers ලා taxi, අපේ taxi app එක use කිරීමේ frequency එක අපි වැඩි කරන්නේ. So the strategies that you come up with in order to deliver this comes under market penetration strategy. So all these promotions, the price cuts and all these things, they come under this. And the value added features, like you very correctly mentioned, they come with these cash on delivery options and all that, sharing your ride. For example, if we take a app like Pick Me or Uber, you can split the fare, right? And if you take Uber Eats, they have introduced the feature of gifting meals, no? Send the meal as a gift to someone else. So likewise, value added features are there. So there are many number of examples that you can think of. I just pointed out a few of them. And even these, efforts to promoting, right? They can be taken under this, because now, for example, when you do influencer marketing, මොකද influencer marketing කියන්නේ? වර්තමාන වෙද්දී ගොඩක් popular නේ. Now, if you have an Instagram account, you know how popular influencer marketing via celebrity endorsements is, right? Celebrities la මේ products brands endorse කරනකොට මොකක්ද එකෙන් උත්සාහ කරන්නේ? ඒගොල්ලන් existing market එකේ existing products ම තමයි ඒගොල්ලන් promote කරන්නේ, but through those they try to grow the market share. Celebrity endorsements, right? කියන්නේ මේ product එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න, මේක මම පාවිච්චි කරා නේ, මගේ pimples නැති වුණා, මේක මගේ kitchen එකට මම ගත්තා, ඔයාලා මේක ගන්න. So that's influencer marketing, right? So that all of that comes under market penetration, right? Then Also, organizations can choose to do product development. What happens here? Right, apparently, give me a second. Right. So, in terms of product development strategies, you can use the internet for, once again, adding value for existing products. You can develop digital products, right? New delivery methods or new usage methods, right? New usage methods. And you can change the payment model. The current payment structure you offer to the customer, you can change it. The same product, but you're changing the way customers can pay for them. Then you increase your product range, right? E-tailers can do this specifically. So all these things come under product development strategies, right? Now, exist within your existing market, right? Within your existing market, I'm sorry, I don't know whether I mixed it up earlier. I think I mentioned the same thing. So within your existing market, you come up with new products, right? So earlier in market penetration, you use your existing product within the existing market, but when it comes to product development, you operate within the same market, but new products. That is product development. Aluth products අපි දෙනවා එකම market එකේ ඉඳීම තුලින් customers ට. මේක කරන්නේ කොහොමද? One thing is by adding value to existing products. Now, for example, let's think something like this. Sampath Bank, right? If we take example Sampath Bank, rather than coming to the bank all the time for engaging in transactions, they introduce a mobile wallet, right? So what is that? It is a new product that they give to the customers, right? A mobile wallet they are introducing to the existing market, but it's a new product. You can use the mobile wallet in order to do transactions without having to carry your physical currency with you all the time, right? So that is a new product. Then once again, developing digital products, new delivery methods, new usage models. Can you give me an example for those things? Now, this is being extensively used by a lot of organizations, right? These new deliveries and new usage models, these are like very popular. Yes. Yeah, so someone says drone deliveries. Yes, very good, right? So it is a new way of touching the customer, right? Through a new product. You use new channel or new delivery method to reach to your customers, right? Then new payment models. For instance, subscription, pay-per-use, product bundling, right? Bundled prices, right? Now, for example, if we take something like Netflix, it is a subscription-based payment model. No? Then you can also go for pay-per-use models as well. And then you can go for bundled prices, right? Bundled prices are available. Increasing your product range. That is also an option, right? Now, if you are operating as an e-tailer, right? If you're operating through a website, an e-commerce site, to the same existing market, you can continue to introduce new types of products, keep on expanding your products, right? So all these are examples of new product development, right? So when comparing with market penetration strategies, this is a little bit more riskier. A little bit more riskier. Why? Because you are going into a new domain in terms of products, right? So more capital required, more risk attached to it, and also the return is, what do you think about the return? Is it the same or can it be higher when comparing with penetration strategies? Yeah. Higher, yes, exactly, right? When the risk gets higher gradually, definitely your return also gets higher. Then looking at the market development strategies, here we can use the internet to reach out to new geographic markets, new customer segments. Here, this is more evolved than product development, we can say. We are reaching out to new markets with our existing products, right? We are reaching out to new markets. Can be a completely new geographical market, national geographical market, right? Regional geographical market. You are expanding international. All those things come under market development strategy, right? So a local company deciding to set up a website to sell online, that is market development strategy, right? Then you're tapping into new customer segments, new market segments, right? You're offering a new digital product, maybe, right? To fully focus a new group of customers, right? Maybe a mobile application targeting the youth, right? Youth first, ladies first, right? Those kinds of products are there. Then now recently this during these T20 cricket matches, I remember there was a heavy promotion going on by HNB, if I remember, targeting the youth, right? An app targeting the youth, that all the necessities that they have for this generation are being served by this particular app. So that is, you are giving your existing product to a new market, to a new segment, right? Right. So that is how market development strategies happen. Then also this can be in terms of using new digital channels also, right? Maybe you're using new digital channels to reach out to these types of markets. So when we compare the first two ones, market penetration, product development, the risk attached with market development is higher, and also the return is higher. Then out of this quadrant, the riskiest move is to go for diversification strategies. You are focusing on a completely new product and completely new market, right? Completely new products and completely new markets. So here what happens, using the internet to support diversification into either related business or into unrelated businesses. So diversification can happen within related businesses or within unrelated businesses. What is the difference between two? Can you give me an example? Related businesses diversification කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Unrelated business diversification කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Yes. Any idea? Any thoughts on that? No idea. Any examples you can provide? We have some examples. Yeah, introducing a shampoo by a soap company, is it related or unrelated? It's more towards related diversification, no? Yes, related diversification, yes. Then Lasana Flora, selling vegetables and fruits. Okay, if we think a little bit more about how unrelated they can be. Now, if we take an organization like Laughs, you heard about the Laughs Holdings, no? A local company. Are they doing related diversification or unrelated diversification? Yes, Laughs Holdings, related the unrelated the. Yes, correct. Unrelated, no? Why? They are in the retail segment, then they are in the energy segment, they are into hospitality, they are into manufacturing, right? So a lot of different things happening. If we take the Virgin Group of companies, what do you think? Have you heard of the Virgin Group of companies? A very popular global conglomerate owned by Richard Branson. Virgin Group of companies, මොන වගේද? Related the unrelated the. So if you haven't heard, go search about Virgin Group. A lot of interesting things you can find out about diversification, especially unrelated diversification, right? So what was the boldest move that Virgin Group did recently? Virgin Group recently කරපු biggest venture එක මොකක්ද in terms of diversification, unrelated diversification? Any idea? Nobody knows. Do you know who Richard Branson is? No idea. Yes. So did you hear about Virgin Galactic? Anyone? Have you heard of Virgin Galactic? Anyone? Any idea what it is? Yes or no? No idea. So now you have to be alert on things that going on around you, right? Virgin Galactic කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා දන්නේ නැද්ද කට්ටිය? No. Oh my God. Right. So do you know that there is a project where citizens of Earth can go to the space now? Do you know that? Are you aware of that? ඔයාලට උනත් සල්ලි තියනවා නම් ස්පේස් එකට අභ්‍යවකාශයට ගත වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා දන්නවද? Do you know that that opportunity is there for you? Right. So Virgin Galactic, introduced by the Virgin Group, is one such initiative. So you can actually search. There are very interesting videos on YouTube. It was all over Google about 1 or 2 months back. I think, yeah, 1 or 2 months back, as I remember. Then this Elon Musk and Richard Branson, they were competing very hard to do this, right? So you have to know these things, right? Be updated about these things. So that was a complete unrelated diversification. Now imagine a company coming up with a service where it provides facilities for getting into space, for traveling into space. Completely unrelated diversification. All right. Now if we make things more simpler, if we consider an airline, right? An airline, they are providing, let's say, accommodation services, integrating accommodation services, and let's say, holiday planning and those kinds of things, a little bit more related, no? So likewise. So related diversification can be there and unrelated diversification can be there, right? Then upstream integration and downstream integration can also happen within diversification, right? Integrations. Now these diversifications most of the time happen through these integrations, right? Maybe your company is going for a acquisition, maybe your company is going for a joint venture, right? All these initiatives mostly happen via the diversification strategies most of the time, right? Most of the time. So when it comes to upstream integration, what happens is your company integrates with your supply chains upstream section. That means your suppliers, right? With other partners in your upstream supply chain. For example, Cargills, right? Cargills, they are owning their supply chains, upstream supply chains, right? Cargills buying off their suppliers and the partners in the upstream supply chain. Same can happen to the downstream supply chain, right? Maybe you're integrating your distributors, you're purchasing your distributors and integrating your distributors to your business, making them a part of your business, right? So Cargill is one company that does it very well, right? So I hope you can you now have a good idea about how companies can choose to place themselves in between these quadrants, right, when defining their strategies. So moving on, now a few brief examples have been given as to each of these strategies. So when it comes to market penetration, this strategy involves using digital channels to sell more existing products to existing markets. We discussed that, no? Then the next point says internet has great potential for achieving sales growth or maintaining sales by the market penetration strategy. We discussed that as well. How an organization can broaden their revenue base by going online, right? Growing their market share without changing the existing market or the existing products. What do you mean by the existing market here? It's actually referring to your target market that you are offering to, right? So without making a change in it, you're broadening that market base, right? Your target market is the same, but you're broadening the base, right? Then market development. Here, online channels are used to sell into new markets, taking advantage of the low cost of advertising internationally. So a company can very easily use online channels to sell their products to new geographical markets, maybe new international markets. How can they do this? By taking advantage of the low cost of advertising. That's true, no? Now, in a traditional business environment, it's not easy to go online, to go international. There's a lot of cost component attached to it, right? Imagine dealing with all these foreign distributors, foreign, logistics companies, and physically visiting there, physically setting up your business place in a foreign country, all of these things, right? In a traditional environment is much harder than it is possible in the online environment. So the communications can all happen online. No, not really necessary to physically move there and set up your own agent there who is representing your company. You can very easily source suppliers, distributors, logistics companies, whatever you need. Very easily online communications can happen. And with these facilities such as intermediaries, such as then drop shipping and all these things coming in, it's very easy to even without having your own physical store, by just setting up, by just advertising or putting your products online, very easy to reach out to international markets, right? It's just a matter of shipping. Then advertising for, now imagine if you had to do advertising in a traditional scale, if you use mass media, it's very expensive, whether it's billboards, like whether it's above the line, whether it's below the line, right? Both these are if we take above the line specifically, it's very expensive, right? Maybe this digital billboards, mass media communications, maybe the television, maybe the newspaper and such. But when it comes to the internet, not as expensive at all, right? Even to boost your advertisement on Facebook, you can do it as a very low cost, right? Without incurring much, you can boost your Facebook advertisements to actually target wider audiences, right? And even international audience can be targeted, right? So it is a low cost of advertising without the necessity for a supporting sales infrastructure in the customer's country. even without infrastructure to support sales, this can be done. It's just a matter of sitting in front of the PC or your mobile phone, creating a graphic, creating a poster, creating a video, and posting it online, right? No unnecessary costly infrastructure required, or no sales staff support required as you require in a physical setting, right? With a very few resources, you can do this. Right. Then product development also we discussed. The web can be used to add value to or extend existing products for many companies, right? To add value to එහෙම නැත්නම් දැනට තියෙන products වලට value add කරන්න හෝ ඒවා extend කරන්න. For example, a car manufacturer can potentially provide car performance and service information via a website, right? So that is adding value to your customers, right? So they can decide to provide performance information and service information regarding a car through a newly set website. Then diversification. New products can be related or unrelated. We discussed what they are. So new products are developed which are sold into new markets. Internet alone cannot facilitate these high-risk business strategies, but it can facilitate them at lower cost than have previously been possible. Now, just because you are doing diversification through internet, it doesn't guarantee that it removes the risk factor involved with diversification strategies. Rather, a benefit you can achieve by engaging in diversification strategies using online channels is that you can do it at lower costs than if you did them in a physical setting or in a traditional setting, right? අපි internet එක භාවිතා කරලා diversification කරා කියලා අපිට තියෙන risk එක අඩු වෙනවා කියලා අපිට guarantee කරන්න බෑ. නමුත් අපි physical setting එකකදී diversification strategy එකකට යනවට වඩා අපි internet එක use කරලා මේක කරනකොට අපිට cost advantages, cost savings ගොඩක් ලබා ගැනීමේ හැකියාව තියෙනවා. Right? That is one of the key takeaways you have to understand from this discussion. Then, a closely related issue is the review of how a company should change its target marketing strategy. Now we move on to another aspect that organizations should pay attention on, that is how the company should change their target marketing strategy through this newly developed or newly defined strategies, right? So how does this happen? How does the target marketing strategy operationalize? This starts with segmentation. What is segmentation? Segmentation is identification of groups of customers sharing similar characteristics. Now, in a mass market, you choose a segment, you cluster the mass market into different segments based on certain similar characteristics, right? Now, for example, for any company, it can be true to any company, right? Now, maybe based on, let's say, social category, maybe let's say based on age, based on the occupation, maybe, right? Or maybe based on the preferences, social media preferences that they show, right? Maybe based on gender, right? So there may be many segmentation bases. There can be geographical segmentation, there can be behavioral segmentation, there can be psychographic segmentation, right? Different segmentation bases available, right? So you can choose. අපි geographical factor එක consider කරලා segment කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් customers ලගේ behavioral patterns නේ preferences දිහා බලලා ඒගොල්ලන්ව segment කරන්න පුළුවන්. Especially online අපි කරනකොට අපි තමු අපි campaign එකක් කරනවා Facebook. right? අපි promotions කරනවා, අපි target කරනවා. දැන් මේ product එක අපිට analyze කරලා බලන්න පුළුවන් social media හරහා උදාහරණයකට දැන් fashion related එකක් නම් business එකක් නම් අපි කරන්නේ. එහෙනම් අපි target කරනවා හැමතිස්සෙම අපේ audience එක අපේ promotions ඔක්කොම visible වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ fashion related products like කරන, ඒවට comment කරන, ඒවා share කරන අය, ඒ pages like කරලා තියෙන අය, right? ඒව සම්බන්ධව you know posts මොන හරි අපි කියන්නේ tagging වගේ campaigns වලට සම්බන්ධ වෙන අය වෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? ඒ වගේ අපිට target කරන්න පුළුවන් preferences මත පදනම් වෙලා, right? So there are so many ways you can do this. So why do you do segmentation? Because a business obviously cannot cater to the mass market, right? So therefore, you segment, and after segmenting, you target, right? You identify several segments and you identify the target. What does that mean? Involves selectively communicating with different segments. Now, these target marketing strategies, right? They should be tailored to suit different types of segments that you identify, right? So the same product can be channeled to different market segments using different channels, using different communication methods, right? Now, for example, if we take news media, right? Now, news media can be offered in many different platforms, right? Can be paper-based, it can be based on social media, it can be based on a mobile app, it can be based on television, it can be based on the radio, right? So you target different types of segments using different types of channels, different types of communication strategies. Now, for example, your generation, you are very reluctant to even maybe watch news, right, on TV, I don't know, maybe, right? But you prefer more reading news online, maybe on your social media pages that you have liked, or of the news channels, maybe via YouTube channels, maybe via a mobile app, right? Likewise, so different communication channels. So this, when you select a target market, it is the part of the market which your organization can most profitably serve. ඔයාගේ organization එකට වඩාත් ලාභදායී ලෙස value proposition එකක් offer කරන්න පුළුවන් market එක තමයි target market එක කියලා අඳුනගන්නේ අර segment කරපු markets වලින්, right? So organizations also have to decide what is our target marketing strategy, right? It's also a key decision under market and product development strategies, right? Moving on, third decision. Now we discussed two decisions, I hope you remember. Digital business channel priorities we discussed, then market and product related decisions, right? Third one, positioning and differentiation. What happens here? Once segments to target have been identified, then අපි target කරන්න ඕනේ segments අඳුනගෙන තියෙන. Organizations need to define how to best position their online services relative to competitors. දැන් අපි segment කරා market එක, අපිට profitably serve කරන්න පුළුවන් target එක අපි අඳුනගත්තා. ඊළඟට අපි බලන්න ඕනේ කොහොමද මේ target market එක ඇතුලේ මම position වෙන්නේ, right? මගේ position එක මොකක්ද? මොන විදිහේ brand recall එකක්ද මම customers ලට දෙන්න ඕනේ, right? මොන විදිහටද මම මගේ competitors ලත් එක්ක differentiate වෙලා පෙන්වන්නේ මම market එක ඇතුලේ, මේ target market එක ඇතුලේ, right? මොන විදිහටද මම customer ට more appealing වෙන්නේ මේ market එක ඇතුලේ, right? So all these things define how you are going to position, right? So in order to position, organizations usually, how do they do it? They do it through a value proposition, right? Through their value proposition. What is a value proposition? We have discussed about this under MIS as well. Value proposition is the bundle of benefits that you deliver to your customer. It's a statement of benefits that you offer, the statement of value that you offer to your customers through your products and services, right? So this value proposition shows to your customer base how different you are when compared to the rest of the players in the market. When it comes to a digital business context, organizations also develop what is called a online value proposition. Right? Online value proposition එකක් කියලා එකක් හදනවා. මොකද්ද මේ online value proposition කියන්නේ? Once again, it is the set of benefits that it's a statement of benefits